It's the Hook Cam back with probably my last video before I start getting into preseason stuff. Right now, Hall of Fame games tomorrow for me on Thursday. I'm super excited to watch and break that down. But I definitely want to get a video out to you guys before next week's preseason. So here we go. Super Bowl, man. I've been wanting to break this down for a little bit. Really quickly, just kind of before we really dive into this. One of the best coaching jobs in a game I have ever seen in my life from Bill Belichick. Just an incredible job as far as his defensive game plan. Offensively, it was play field position, play field position, play field position. That was the whole point of it, right? And you kind of saw throughout the game, right? There were some third and longs where you check down, right? Where Brady's throwing his check down as opposed to trying to force the ball downfield. That's because of a couple of things. Number one, you trust your defense. And number two, you trust your punter. You don't do that stuff unless you know, hey, my punter's going to pin them deep and my defense is going to be able to hold them. Maybe they get one first down, but as long as we can keep that keep that offense on its heels, we're going to be okay. So the other thing is coming into this game, obviously I wasn't on YouTube, but one of my biggest things talking to my friends and family who are all Patriots fans, I said New England has to get creative running the football. They cannot go in and just do their same stuff as far as running the football is concerned. They have to get creative. And right off the bat with play one, we see the creativity. This is an awesome play call. So really quickly, defensively, we're getting what's called a five-man under, okay? So an underfront, for those of you who don't know, is when you have a one technique to the strength, right? Gronkowski is the strength right now. You have your one technique. You have what appears to be a five technique on the outside shoulder of this tackle. He could be head up. And then you have your outside backer who's on the line, outside shade of Gronk here. You also have this is just an edge defender. There's Dante Fowler who's standing up. In the box, you got Mark Barron, and then you have your other backer right here. I think that's Corey Littleton. I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, five-man under. This front is made to stop the run. Reason being is because you have three guys to the strength of the formation and two guys to the weak side. So what New England does to combat this, right? New England knows going into this, hey, when we give them a heavier front, right, 21 personnel here, they're probably going to go into their five-man under. Well, what happens with this, let me mute it really quick before Tony Romo yells in your ears. What happens with this is they run a wham, but what they do is, as opposed to whamming the edge defender on the backside, which is usually who you wham when you run inside zone with a wham, sorry, I'm saying wham a lot now, is they leave Nottingham Sue, the front side defender, and they let him get whammed. This is a great job. Okay. Some guys don't like this because you limit where your back can go, right? Now your back can only go one spot. But what it allows you to do is it allows you to get your interior linemen up to backers, which is exactly what they want. So we got David Andrew, who, in my opinion, is a top five, maybe even top three center in the league, up to Mark Barron. We have Shaq Mason, who could very easily be one of the best, one of the best guards in the league, up to Corey Littleton. We have our tackle who's just kind of mauling that DN there. But just watch here as we go in full time, right? We got our two interior getting up to the linebackers, and then we have a running back on a safety, which is exactly what you want. If you can get every run play to end up with your running back on a safety, you've done your job as a coach, and you've done your job as offensive lineman, right? James Devlin now is going to come and wham Nottingham Sue on this, right there, right? Now, does he eat an elbow and does he end up on his back? Absolutely. But was the block effective? You bet it was, because Nottingham Sue doesn't make the play. This is a great play call on 1st and 10. You're being creative with what you're doing, keeping the Rams on their heels, and they do this throughout the game as well. So in my last video I did on the Patriots on the AFC Championship game, I talked very briefly about their twist game and their stunt game and how that really helped them get to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl in the playoffs. And this is just another example of that, right? And like I said in the last video, a lot of teams are so confident in their front four that they don't really feel the need to twist and they don't feel the need to stunt. New England, right, they don't invest a ton in their front four. They're going to let Trey Flowers walk. They're going to let other guys try to come in and prove their stardom, but it's because they schematically have teams beat. Right? So when we look at this up front, okay, we got 1st and 10, obviously under the 2-minute. Patriots just did not convert a 4th and 1. So this could be a turning point in the game, right? This is a big time big time play that could end up starting the drive. Okay, but just defensively, when we look at it, a very common pass rushing front, right? We have our edge defender, our D end, our nose tackle, and then our other D end right down here. Both of these guys outside shade of the tackle. They want to get wide with this, right? Then we have our two backers, Dante Hightower and Cal Van Noy. We have them lined up, looks like outside shade on the guard. Okay, now we stand up these backers here, and it's tough for a young quarterback to know, are they coming, are they dropping, right? Everybody knows that. That's not a secret at this point, right? But let's look at what we're giving him in the backfield, okay? So we have the ability to basically cover up every offensive lineman, and then we're going to run cover one on top of it, what looks like cover one, because we've got basically man across the board, but then we also have two safeties back here, right? So now Goff knows it's one of a couple of things, right? It's either going to be man, they're going to run cover one with a robber, right, which he's going to drop, he's going to come down here, be the middle of the field player, or they're going to run cover two, right, which it could be any of those three, but he's also got to worry about this stud up front, right? What's going to happen up front? Is he going to drop in front of number three? Is Dante Hightower going to drop in front of three here? Right? Is Kyle Van Noy going to drop and be my middle of the field player? And now we've got cover two back here. There's so many things you can do out of this formation defensively, right? But let's take a look at the stunt that happens here, okay? So essentially all it is, all right? Dante Hightower is going to stunt outside here, and he's going to try to get the outside shoulder of the guard and run into the inside shoulder of that tackle. Meanwhile, Adrian Claiborne is going to take a few steps upfield and then cut inside, trying to get inside this A-gap right here, right? Because Dante Hightower's whole job is to consume these two guys. Claiborne's really the guy who's supposed to be making the sack on this play. And it's going to be the same thing down here, right? Kyle Van Noy is going to stunt outside, try and get to that tackle, try and hold on to that guard. And we've got Dietrich Weiss, I believe, stunting inside on this. So watch what happens here, right? Boom, we get upfield, and really it's Dante Hightower who ends up making the play on this because the guard is late, right? See how this guard right here has got both shoulders turned? He's looking at Claiborne, who's now got a clean shot at the quarterback. It's because he's late on this, and they weren't hip to hip in their protection. That's what happens, right? Dante Hightower ends up getting in there and making the play. But again, this is just an adage to their twist game, right? And the key to this whole thing, if there's a D lineman watching this, these first 2 or 3 steps upfield sell the whole damn twist. They sell everything about it, because now as a tackle, I'm thinking, I got a rusher here, right? I got a rusher. I got to be able to kick and beat him to a point. No, he cuts this thing inside. My guard's late. Now I can't take over on 54, and it ends up in a loss here. Just a great job of scheming this defense up. And excuse me, this was Trey Flowers, not Dietrich Weiss. A great job of scheming this defense up and really attacking this pass protection and forcing them to be good on their game. And even look here, look at the right tackle. Right tackle's got no chance on getting to anybody on this. He's still chasing the twist. Right? That you've got this offensive line in such a blender when you're doing this stuff. It's next level, right? And this is what makes Belichick's defense so good when you get to the playoffs. All right, big third down conversion here. Pats just forced a punt, right? They get pinned inside their 15. Field position game, all in all, right? And that's the key here. So from New England, we're getting a motion from Edelman across the formation. He's going to line up right outside of Gronk, okay? Or excuse me, he might be right inside of Gronk by the time all said and done. Yeah, right inside of Gronk. Okay, so with this, right, we've seen this before where New England will motion, and then they essentially try to set up a pick play with Gronk coming across here and trying to pick this defender. This corner does a great job of putting himself in a position to run with Edelman to the flat, because that's usually where these pick plays go, right? But this is what I'm going to get into here is why the coaching for the New England is the best in the league, and why Tom Brady made the throws he needed to make in this game to win it, and why he didn't just walk into a ring, okay? So most of the time when you're running this, right, Gronk's coming across on a little drag. He's basically trying to pick this corner, okay? And usually he's running into the flat. You dump it to him in the flat, hope he can get the yards after the catch. No. They know that that's exactly what St. Louis. That's exactly what LA is expecting. So they take this play, and he almost runs like a wheel with it, right? He runs to the flat and then cuts it upfield nice and tight, not too far to the sideline, right? Boom, right there to the flat upfield. Okay, you see that he just cuts in here, a quick jump cut up, and now he's upfield. There is one place that this ball can go on this play, right? You're not going to hit Gronk in this window. It's too tight. Hogan's got no separation. James White's got a flat defender on him. There's one place this ball can go, and it's right in the breadbasket to Edelman, which is exactly where Brady puts this ball. Okay? This isn't walking into a ring. Yes, the Rams did a great job in this game defensively. Wade Phillips has always done a good job against New England. But 12 made the throws he needed to make to win this football game. This is a great ball. There's one place that rock can go, right into Edelman's hands. He does a great job yards after the catch, picking up a first down. And those are the plays that made this game. Those are the plays that got Edelman an MVP ring, right? That's what it's all about. So just a great job all around. And then we go to this 3rd and 2 here. Tight coverage. Tight coverage. There's only one, like, again, that you can't throw that ball anywhere else, right? What do you want him to do? Push it to Gronk? Do you want him to force it into a tight window? No, you're going to throw it to the sideline. If you get an incompletion, it's an incompletion. You live to fight another down. That's what this entire game was about. It's punting, it's field position, it's coaching, it's scheme, right? It wasn't about one player taking over. It was about the coaching job in the 2 weeks beforehand and who executed the best on the field. All right, fellas, next play here. Again, it's that twist game that New England had in the playoffs that propelled them to a Super Bowl win, right? And we talk about the biggest plays on the biggest stages. This is it right here. 3rd quarter, under 3 minutes to go. Rams in field goal territory. New England's diving into their blitz pocket and pulling out this twist, right? So again, we have that same front that we talked about earlier, right? We got those 2 wide edge defenders. We got our nose tackle who looks to be shaded on the center's right side. Defense is left. Okay. Now, with this twist, what's going to happen is defensive ends are going to rush upfield. This twist is all interior. Okay. We're going to get a hard stunt from Dante Hightower in between the guard and center. Butler is going to push to this right side here, defensively, left side for the offense. Kyle Van Noy is going to loop around, and he's going to be the guy who's supposed to be getting in on this sack because that guard you want to be focused on Hightower and just locked in trying to seal this gap, and that's going to open up space for Van Noy. But watch what ends up happening here. Dante Hightower's quick off the snap. He does a great job. The step and a half before he makes contact, and we're going to go back and watch this because it's important. Okay, now. Most defensive linemen just bury their head right in between this gap and they just hold on for dear life, hoping that they open the spot for him. No, watch what Dante Hightower does. He takes two steps, a step and a half upfield, straight upfield to this outside shoulder of the guard, and then cuts it in, and that's what sets him up, right? Because that guard's stepping out now. That's what gives Dante Hightower that room to come in and make the sack. It's the plays on the biggest stages where the Patriots, most coaches are worried to call this because there's a risk to it, right? There's a risk to this being too delayed, the offensive line sealing protection, and us getting a completion on 3rd and 7. But New England's got no problem calling this because they trust in their guys. They know that they know the system. They trust them to get the deal done when it matters most, and this is exactly what happens here. A great twist, a guy like Hightower who deserves every cent he's paid, and all in all, they end up kicking a 53-yarder, but that was a massive play in this game. Massive. The game-winning drive right here. Starts off with a really cool play. Man. Play action. Gronk just does a great job of making contact and then taking this thing on the wheel upfield. All right. So we get a quick show from Brady. Right here, quick show, turn the back. We flip the hips, get around, and you're just kind of waiting for Gronk to get upfield and get a little bit of separation. And make no mistake about it, fellas, this is a hard ball to complete. Right? You got to get the perfect amount of touch on this thing. It gets right in the breadbasket for a great drive starter. I mean, Gronk takes this thing up for a 15, 16, almost 20-yard gain, and that was a great job on this play, right? Play action, just getting the ball out quick, getting this drive started, and again, that ball's a lot harder to complete than it seems to be. But moving into this next play, 1st and 10, I know this play very well. This is a play that we used to run where I used to coach. I know this play very well. Okay, so let me break it down to you. I know everybody's been breaking it down, but this is all it is essentially. You've got a curl here from number 1. You've got a streak here from number 2, right? And you have an option route from number 3. His route is based off of the linebacker's leverage. or whoever's covering him's leverage, right? But you put him as number 3 in this situation because you want him to be able to stem this thing inside, really press the hip of that backer, and then break it back out so he has room to work upfield, okay? Outside here, you have the same thing. You've got a vertical from 2, and you've got a curl from 1, all right? Now watch this thing in real time. It's tough to cover because the Rams are running what looks like a cover 4 or quarters defense, right? So all that's happening in a quarters is you're going to drop your 2 corners and your 2 safeties into deep fourths. All right, now he's got to get hook curl. He's going to be middle of the field. He's hook curl as well, right? And if there's a throw to the flat, you rally and make a tackle. But again, great job from Edelman. He brings that thing in, cuts it back outside, and you've got some space to work. Again, great play. And this is where it starts to hurt you now because you forced the Rams, because now we're getting into play 3 on one breakdown part. You forced the Rams to run cover 3 in this situation, right? So you've gone back and forth. You flipped the trip side multiple times, okay? The Patriots were basically just setting the trips to the field in this situation, right? We've got trips to the field here. Now, at this point, you know that this safety has to shade the trip side of the field. He's got to be over there, especially when they're in cover 3 like this, right? He's taking this deep third. He's got to be over to he has to roll to the trip side. If you don't, you're outnumbered over here, okay? He's taking this deep third. All right, now watch what happens in this because you end up getting a linebacker on Gronk, and this is the play that makes the game right here. Gronk stems him outside. Brady throws one of the best balls of his career right into the hands, the breadbasket of Gronk. This is an incredible ball. All right. Yes, you've got 3 defenders on this. Marcus Peters is dropping back into a deep third, but he's too late because this curl held him here. You've got this safety right here who got looked off initially by Brady. See, Brady's not looking at Gronk right now. He's looking off the safety, which means that you're staring this dude down, hoping that this safety runs over to this side of the field because he thinks you're throwing it there, right? Brady does a good job turning back and uncorking one right to Gronk, man. Just a phenomenal throw in between a safety, in between that linebacker and corner. This is what it's all about. And when you talk about the greatness of a quarterback, these are the throws that come to mind. Just an outstanding job, a great play design, and again, Gronk being Gronk, stemming that thing upfield, getting vertical, and making the tough catch. Just a big-time play and a money play for these guys out here in New England. All right, fellas, last play I want to break down for you guys in the Super Bowl. This was probably my favorite play because the difficulty of the block was so hard. All right, so all that's happening is we have 12 personnel here from the Patriots, 1 back, 2 tight ends. Again, the Rams coming out in that 5-man underfront like we talked about earlier. 5-man underfront, they're motioning Dwayne Allen across the formation, even up the strength for you. All that's going to happen with this is it's single back power, okay? So we're going to get Dwayne Allen who's working out on this edge defender right here. Okay, we're going to have a combo between our right tackle and right guard on Aaron Donald up to 58. Okay, we're back blocking with our center. We're pulling with our left guard up to 26, and this thing is off to the races. But the difficulty in this block, yes, the pull is outstanding and that it does kind of make the play. But the true X factor on this play is the right tackle. Watch on this combo as he works. He displaces Aaron Donald, one of the best defensive pass rusher run defenders in the game, displaces him over a gap, and then works up to the backer. That's what makes the play. This is so hard to teach. It's so hard to execute, and you have your right tackle executing this on the biggest stage in football. Displacing Aaron Donald over a gap. Shaq Mason now has control. We open that gap for our guard. You get up to the backer, make contact. He's got no chance to make this tackle, and you give yourselves a Super Bowl win with that play. Right? Yes, you got to run out some more clock, but that is a defining statement for New England's season. Just a great job with this combo getting over. I could watch this all day, fellas. I'm an O-line coach. I could watch this all day, all night. I wouldn't sleep for weeks watching this, getting ready for season. It is a great job. Displacing Aaron Donald, getting up to that backer, making contact. That's what you want, man. That's what you want, and that's ultimately plays like that is what wins this team the Super Bowl. So, anyway, I'm all fired up right now. Anyway, guys, I'm the Hook Cam. I absolutely love doing these breakdowns. They're going to continue during the season. Another great wide zone by the Patriots. Jesus. Please like and subscribe. Share my stuff. I'm trying to get my stuff out there before the season comes. Really looking forward to doing this stuff for you guys. But anyway, thanks for your support. I've been getting some great feedback. And that's all I got for you guys. I'll see you guys next time.